Hi everybody, this is Jason from KC Cardinia Libraries. Thank you for joining us today. As you may have known from the subject matter that you clicked on, we're doing a special drawing lesson for Star Wars Day, May the 4th. And today we're going to start with your very humble TIE Fighter. Probably one of the easiest crafts to draw in terms of just doing it simply. And so we'll get started. What you will need is a piece of paper, photocopy paper if you have one around the house is fine, or a sketchbook, or just any paper at all that you can draw on. Sketchbooks is also really good for keeping all your artwork in one place and to look back on in the future to see your progress. So what we'll need is, HB pencil to start off with. H pencil is preferable to lay out fate lines. So you can just do a rough sketch of the base before you put in all the nice detail. And to do that, we'll need B pencil. 2B is fine for this particular point. And also we'll need an eraser because people do make mistakes and that is perfectly fine. The more you draw, the less you'll make mistakes. But yeah, as for now, that was perfectly okay. Sharpener as well to keep our pencils sharp, especially for the 2B pencils when we're going over finer areas. And I'll explain that a bit later as we go. So for a TIE Fighter, they're pretty basic. I'm just going to do a really basic one for the time being, just to show the basic shapes involved, and then we can get onto more detail into it for those who want to. So I've just drawn one earlier today, and I have one as a reference in front of me as well, so I can basically have all the lines down pretty okay for the more detailed parts. But let's just start. Basically, a TIE Fighter is just a circle pod. And if you have trouble drawing a circle, that's perfectly fine. You can get anything in the house and just trace a circle around it. Any item that has a circular base, you can just trace that in. And then a TIE Fighter usually has another smaller circle on the inside. So I'm just really lightly sketching my lines in, just to try and get the shape correct. And then there's another smaller circle. And then we'll start on the wings. So it's kind of like a upturned wastebasket bin. It sticks out from the side. And then another one. And then there's a smaller one. It's kind of flips the other way. And that joins to the wings, as you'll see later on. So breaking objects down into shapes makes it easier rather than looking at it as one whole thing. And each side will have a very, very tiny long rectangular block, and this is actually what joins the arms to the wings. And we can just very basically sketch out a line. And we will use a ruler for this when we're using 2B pencil to go over it. Just make it look straighter there. Okay, so you can see why a ruler is quite important, because those are quite... Alright, so just do that very lightly. And the reason why a clear ruler is good, so you can actually see through it and see how your lines should be lining up. And again, this takes a while to get used to, and the more you draw, the more you get used to it. Okay, that's much better. So we can erase out those very squiggly bits. Okay, so very basically that is a TIE Fighter. And we will now add more details to make it look more like a TIE Fighter. So what's most important detail about a TIE Fighter after its initial H shape? That is the cockpit window, of course. And I found the easiest way to do the cockpit window is to actually imagine it is a clock, where you're slicing up a piece of cake actually. So do two lines that go to the top and bottom, and then across to the sides, and then in each of the angles. And then you just connect them together to draw like this octagon. And there is a TIE Fighter cockpit window. Actually, make the lines a bit longer. And there you go. And then the next thing you will need to make it look more complete is this is actually the hatch where it opens up and the drivers jump in there. And there's 3 lines at the top, 3 square looking, rectangular looking lines that go across the top. And then there's also 2 guns at the bottom. And if you just draw that bit in, kind of like that shape. And at the side, it sticks out a bit like that. And in terms of detail, you can go just as far as that, and that will look absolutely great as a TIE Fighter. But for those of you who want to go a little bit more, we'll add some more details in. So the wings kind of look like this. And then cut through like this. And you just draw the same thing on the other side. Of course, you don't need to add all these details in. It is just absolutely up to you how much you want to put in. Otherwise, that's pretty much it for the basic layout. So we can now use the Sharp 2B pencil to bring out those details better. So we can go more slow with this. Just be a lot more meticulous. And just go over the outlines that we've done. Just remembering that this is an octagon shape. It's actually much smaller than that, but that's okay for now. Sharper lines, and you'll find that what I'm actually doing is as the pencil is getting blunt on the edges, I'm rotating it around to keep going to the sharper bits because I still want that detail in the pencil. Just try to be slower and a bit more firm with the 2B pencil. I keep spinning around the pencil to get the sharp edges. And that goes black. And then I'll just outline this. So I'm just trying to bring more definition and using more stronger, slower, clearer lines. It makes the image jump out a lot nicer. The detail on these parts is not too important unless if you're drawing it really up close image, but otherwise from far away, if you're drawing TIE fighters from far away, you don't really need to show all this image, all this detail, sorry, because yeah, it wouldn't really be seen. Just a bit too far away to see it. And now for the other. Perfect. There we go. And then we'll use a ruler to get the wings down accurately. Here. I'm just going to add a little bit more detail into the wings, just by doing another couple of lines inside it, just so it doesn't look as plain. And then now to do the other side, and as best you can, just make sure the wings line up parallel to each other, otherwise they will look a little bit off. Just adding more of those details into the wings again. And that is pretty much a TIE fighter. So I've just gone away and played around with this some more and added more details. I have a bit of reference in front of me. I've been using a book from the library, which is all about Star Wars vehicles. Very fantastic book if you want references. Of course, you can always go to the internet and find plenty, but these are very clear. So I've been using that as a reference, and I've just gone and added more details. So you can see that I've just put in the fainter lines at the top and at the bottom, and also defined the wings a bit more. And also I've just made the wings darker as well. Again, going over with a ruler. But that is pretty much all there is to drawing a TIE fighter. So thank you very much for watching. For more videos, you can visit our website on cclc.vic.gov.au and click on the Library at Home link, or you can search for Casey Cardini Libraries on YouTube for more videos. Hopefully you've enjoyed that very much, and I'll be back again next time with something else to draw. Thank you very much.